Yeah. So if we just talk about self-care, and the questions again were about you, and I want to really honor you and your time and what you bring to the world with your business and with your zone of genius, and bringing to the forefront self-care and some tips that you can give around self-care. And just as an aside, with my business, I do Kinetic Divination, which is a healing system that uses muscle testing to tap into the body to see where the body is holding on to triggers or trauma that may have been ignited and may be coming up to the surface during this time of the pandemic. So tapping into the body and just refreshing and having people remember that it's important to tap in and muscle test with your body to see where there is that trauma coming to the surface and what's being triggered, and honoring that and bringing self-care and acknowledgement to that in space so that heal.
Fascinating. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to connect with you on that later. I'm sure that could serve my community too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So let me know, tell us about your business and your zone of genius.
Yeah, so I focus on supporting women in their sacred relationship with themselves it's really an umbrella of a mindfulness approach. And it's focusing on self-compassion and self-acceptance and having a mindful approach to it. So there's some meditation practice involved, but it's really just sort of being present, like with your experience, you know, feeling your feelings, accepting who you are right now in this moment, accepting your life in this moment. And I think really what I do is, especially in my events, is I'm able to, you know, I'm not really big on giving people the answers. I'm really great at helping people find their answers. And so getting them to understand that they can go deeper in their relationship with themselves, number one. Number two, why that matters. And number three, like, helping them create their own blueprint for what that means for them, because everybody's different. You know, maybe someone needs to talk about self-talk and they need to work on their self-talk. This other person over here needs to go around the block every day, right? So everybody is in a different place, and I feel like I really help people get clear on where they're at and create that vision for that relationship with themselves, because, you know, it's the most important relationship you'll ever have. So,
yeah,
you know,
and
trust yourself.
Yeah, trust is so important. And before we were recording, we were talking about the heroine's journey, and you had done, and the retreat that you just did in February. And can you give us some, just a little bit of tidbit of how you thought of the book, The Heroine's Journey, what that brought to you, and what maybe were there any takeaways that you could bring into either your genius zone or implementing that into self-care tactics?
Yeah. You know, what's coming up for me is, you know, this myth of perfectionism that is so deeply rooted, and pretty much everyone, like a lot of women, you know, 99.9%, like a lot of women, and sort of understanding, like lifting the veil of where that comes from. And this is where I think, because maybe it's because this is where, like, I passed that chapter of perfectionism, but that's like the one that really stood out to me the most, because, you know, they say like what you're teaching is sort of like your biggest pain points, like things that you, right, really need to work on or have worked on. And so I have come a really long way in my own perception and my own, you know, perception of myself, and my own self-compassion and self-acceptance. And I feel like with the heroine's journey, the retreat, like where the bridge is going deeper in this myth of perfectionism and making it really easy to love yourself. You know, remembering who you are, peeling off the layers. You know, you're not your mind, you're not your body. You're this deep, beautiful soul. You're the most beautiful thing that ever walked on the planet. Like, you are not this package right here, you know, and still understanding, appreciating, and nurturing this package that we have, because it's amazing, right? So not belittling it, but like taking care of it as something that it's like it's a part of you, but it's not who you are. And, you know, I've struggled with body image issues, and I know a lot of women do too. And I think it's about really lifting the veil and seeing that there's this magnitude, there's this deep, beautiful, intimate experience waiting for you, you know? And I think we all have self-love. Like wherever you're at, you've had to love yourself enough to get where you're at, right? But it's about going deeper, and it's about being honest with yourself. You know, what are your blocks? Like, what is holding you back? Like, have you forgiven yourself? You know, do you have practices to show self-compassion? So one of the things I taught at my event, and one of the like online workshops I'm going to do, is around, are you familiar with Tara Brach?
No.
Okay, so she is amazing. And she's like mindfulness and self-compassion and self-acceptance. Those are like she is just amazing in those areas. And she has a practice called RAIN to practice self-compassion. So it's a meditative practice, but you can also journal it. So the R is, it's basically notice. I forgot the actual word, but it's like notice your feelings, like notice your experience. The A is allow. So allow those feelings to surface, right? Check in, where is it in my body? Allow that to move through, and like give yourself permission, you know, to cry or to feel mad or whatever. Let that, because it wants to come alive, right? Your emotions have information for you. The I is investigate. So like get curious, right? Investigate that emotion. Ask yourself, you know, where is it in your body? What is the unmet need? You know, what is it that I really need right now? And just like hand on your heart, what is it that you need right now? And then the last N is nurture, which is my favorite. My favorite is the nurture part. Yeah. And it can be as simple as saying, I say to myself, it's okay, sweetheart. You know, it's okay, sweetheart.
That's similar. I do inner child work with my Kinetic Divination system. And tapping into, you were talking about what the body needs, and there are so many different parts of ourselves. I teach that there are ultimately 5 bodies that we have: the physical, the mental, the emotional, the energetic. And when we nurture and align those, that turns into the 5th, which is the intuitive body. When we're balanced and aligned, tap into that intuitive aspect of our true self. And tapping into that inner child and asking that inner child, what do you need? Is so powerful. It's really beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, that's come up for me a couple times, is exploring inner child work. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah.
It's a beautiful practice.
Yeah.
Cool. So did
I answer any of your questions? I kind of like went off. I do that.
Well, tangents and rants are awesome because they bring up stuff that needs to be said and needs to be heard. So I love it. Yeah. But let's talk about your zone of genius and what you bring to the world with your business. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I help women develop a deep, juicy, intimate, sacred relationship with themselves. So I help them get clear on where they're at, what their blocks are, and help them create their own roadmap with, you know, because I have my own story in that. And there are certain things that I've done in the last 8 years that I really committed, like dedicated to myself, this relationship with myself. And it made my life go in a 360. So I feel like I help women dedicate to themselves, you know, understand, trust, listen to themselves.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. And honor, right? Make time for self-care. Like,
sometimes we feel guilty, right? Sometimes there's that guilt about taking that time and really honoring. And, you know, it took me a long time. Even I have family members, because I'm a napper and I've always been a napper, but I'm also a night owl. So I'll stay up till 3, 4, 5 in the morning writing or working on whatever. I'm an author. I write I have a few books published. And then, you know, people will say, oh, you're sleeping in. Well, darling, I went to bed at 5. Right? And then, so if I get like 4 hours sleep and then I'm up and then I may nap in the afternoon, and sometimes I have to give myself permission because I feel bad. That's not, you know, you're not hustling, right?
Right. Yeah. That's another thing I think you'll really appreciate about this book is it talks about the power of being. And when a woman has that sense that like, I need to be right now instead of, it's a really turning point. And a lot of times we ignore that. For sure.
Yeah. So that book is The Heroine's Journey. And who is the author again?
Maureen Murdoch.
Okay. Yeah. So for our listeners, and that's, that's a must-have, sounds like. Yeah. And I think I've heard a lot with this quarantine, with this pandemic, we're kind of shifting the paradigm and going from the masculine way of pushing to create and force and hustle and flipping into the feminine of just allowing and breathing and being and just nurturing ourselves and just allowing things to unfold and accepting as it unfolds. So that's really cool. Yeah. I think that things are like coming full circle. It's really cool.
Absolutely. This is our time.
Yes. Yeah. Time to thrive, and instead of just surviving and struggling, it's time to now thrive, which is so cool. It's really exciting.
And use our strengths like the way that you are, you know, and heal ourselves and heal the world. Yeah. Little by little.
Yeah. And it's really cool to connect, like we were talking before, but it's so cool how we're connecting, and it just seems like so many people that are coming forward have all of these things in common, which is so amazing. And we're coming forward, and we are shining our light, and we are telling our truths, which maybe we didn't give ourselves permission to before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and self-care, the self-care incentive, what does self-care mean for you?
Self-care means prioritizing myself. It means putting myself first. Before I check my email, before I go help so-and-so, self-care is putting myself first. And that's a big umbrella, you know, but that's where it starts. That's what it means for me.
Yeah. And what would be your 3 go-to tips or techniques for self-care?
So the first one that comes to mind is breath work. So I lead people through different kinds of breath work, but the one that's the easiest and the simplest to remember, you can do it in your car, is just 8 really deep breaths, like 8 long deep breaths in and out. And that has proven to manage out your nervous system, calm down your mind, really bring you to the present moment. And that is one of my favorite acts of self-care because it's just so easy and available. I would say the second one is nurturing my body. So I'll just make that simple, nurturing my body. So that could mean a salt bath. That could mean going for a walk or going for a run or stretching, but nurturing my body. And the third, I would say, would be nurturing my mind. So again, that can mean a lot of things, but really nurturing my mind. So through meditation, nurturing my mind, right? Like learning how to navigate those thoughts, those emotions, allowing them, managing them. It could mean learning something new. It could mean giving content, nurturing my mind. Sleep is nurturing my mind, you know? So I would say breath work, nurturing my body, and nurturing my mind.
Yeah, beautiful. And you were saying about the book, The Heroine's Journey. We're promoting that book for sure.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Maureen. But you were saying you're getting to the end of it and you're like, I'm sad. that I'm getting to the end of the book. And that's beautiful when you can find a book that you're sad that you're getting to the end of it. That's saying something. Like, that's really brought you in and really has nurtured your mind in a huge way.
Absolutely. Especially when it's a book that's like designed to impact your life.
Yeah.
You know,
and
in a
it's
very
probably
specific way.
information, right? And a lot of the information books are just kind of dry. Like, I know I'm writing right now, I'm rewriting my Kinetic Divination book, because it's a healing system, it's a process, but it was a book as well, and it's morphed into this huge program that I have to rewrite the book. But I'm really having trouble because I don't want it to be dry.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be a textbook. I want it to be fun and informative and leads people on that journey of self-discovery. Yeah.
You know, I think one thing that Maureen does really great in this book is she shares a bunch of stories. The book is full of stories. So her background, she's a psychologist or a therapist or something in that realm. And she shares stories. She shares stories from her clients, and she shares stories from like mythology that have lessons for us. Yeah, like Greek mythology.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's even, you know, a part on there that I've reread a couple of times just because it was like, wow, so true. About, I can't remember their names, but I'll share briefly. This woman who, it's basically about how to tap into your goddess in relation with a man, and how you don't, like, basically when he told her, if you like, I'll marry you, but you can't like ask me where I'm going at night, or like you can't see me. And again, this is Greek mythology, so they were like, I don't know. And she couldn't help herself. She was tempted, and so she like got a light to his face and ended up burning him. And he like cast her out to this like other outer world or whatever, because she couldn't fight her inner masculine to, she's like, I have to see you, you know. It was like too strong of the feminine, almost like, I have to see you. And I think in the dating world, and so what happens is she goes to his mom puts her through all these different tests, and she learns how to tap into her goddess, and she doesn't need to see him anymore. And then he comes back, and they're like happily ever after.
Wow.
Because she taps into her goddess. They're finally equal.
Yes. Wow.
Right?
Yeah. That's
it's
so
good.
powerful. So powerful.
Right? And that's like without the details. That's like the mini version.
Wow. Oh, I want to acknowledge you. I'm so grateful that we've connected. I'm so grateful that you shared your story and your time with us. And I want to just give you some space right now. Please tell us where people can find you and your work.
Yeah, so I post a lot on Instagram and Facebook. I'm doing sort of a rebrand on my website, so you can find me at Sharissa, Sharissa, at Sharissa Angelina, on Facebook or on Instagram, or you can email me at sharissa@mysacredrelationship.com.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is going to help so many people.
I hope so. Yeah, you're so welcome. And I just want to make sure that people know about Kinetic Divination. You can check out my stuff at JillianSchweiger.com. Find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook.
Yeah.
And if you guys are not in my the Energetic Alignment community, this is where this will be. I also have a YouTube channel where this will be. And the Energetic Alignment community is a free group where we go into manifesting and creating through empowerment and alignment with what you want and busting through all of the blocks, just releasing all of the blocks and getting down to the core of who we are, the core alignment.
Beautiful.
Stay tuned, you guys, for more videos on the self-care incentive, and stick around, Sharissa. I'll chat with you in a little bit before I say goodbye to everybody else. So bye to everybody.
Bye. Peace and love.